Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks. We always celebrate the magic of movies and physical media with you. Now first, before we get into this video, I just want to give a huge shout out and welcome all our new subscribers. It's great to have you here, and your comments and sharing our videos and liking and just subscribing just means a lot to us, and it really makes all the hard work we put into these videos all worthwhile. Today we're not doing a 4K comparison review. Instead, we're just going to do a movie review, and that is from 1987, The Kindred. Now, The Kindred on Blu-ray is not being released until October 25th, so this is a extra early review. Now, just a little backstory here of my personal experience with this movie. I remember this came out in 1987, and I remember being a kid back in the day, going into the video store, our locally owned video store called Take Two Video, a little mom and pop video store, and I always saw this artwork on the VHS cover, and I always wondered what it was. I always wanted to rent it, but I was too young at the time. My parents definitely wouldn't rent it for me, and as the years went by, I just never got around to seeing it for some reason. So I'm watching this for the first time, and I gotta say, well, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to leave it for the review. But real quick, I'm going to run down with this Blu-ray. It is the unrated version, and includes a new 4K remaster of the unrated version and a new 5.1 surround track. Sounded great. I'm going to do a little Blu-ray review after the movie review, so stay tuned for that. Without further ado, let's get into my movie review of 1987's The Kindred.
Dear God, he's still living. He's still alive.
The Kindred.
Now, The Kindred comes from the director, writers, and producers of 80 horror films like The Dorm Trip Blood and The Power. The Kindred is an 80s monster horror movie that revolves around Dr. Philip Lloyd, played by prolific actor Rod Steiger, who has been performing experiments using dead bodies. Amanda, who once worked alongside Lloyd, suffers a heart attack. But before dying, she tells her son John to go to her home and destroy all evidence of her project called Anthony. John recruits a couple of his friends to help him, and they go to his childhood home. However, what none of them come to realize is that there's something else in the house, loose, living under the floorboards, and it isn't very happy. Now, although The Kindred does have prominent roles by Hollywood veterans such as Rod Steiger and Kim Hunter, the real stars of the movie are honestly the terrific makeup and creature effects created by renowned effects artist Matthew Mungle, who won the Academy Award in 1991 for Bram Stoker's Dracula. And the results are honestly a terrific and gruesome monster movie, such as when the monster's tentacles slide under the skin of a woman's face. The story itself, however, is just your basic cookie-cutter horror storyline, but the execution of the material and all the monster and makeup effects is what makes the film very entertaining to watch, which is why many horror fans still call The Kindred one of the best creature features of the 1980s. It's just a terrific low-budget 80s creature feature horror movie that's definitely well worth watching, and in fact, I watched this twice. I'm giving The Kindred a score of a 4 out of 5. It was a fun time to watch. Definitely pick this up and watch it with friends. You're going to have a blast with it. Now, this release from Synapse Films is essentially a slimmed-down version of the previous Steelbook Collector's Blu-ray release, which was only limited to around 3,500 units. Now, even though this is not a 4K UHD release, it still has a very gorgeous presentation. First, I want to point out that the film has a heavy but really nice, tight grain structure that allows for higher levels of solid detail and texturals to come through from facial close-ups, clothing, objects, background activity are all razor sharp. The color palette also gets a great facelift and has terrific range of hues, especially with the creature and makeup effects that all has a great organic quality to them and some really nice saturation and contrast levels that are balanced perfectly. Black levels are deep and shadow details and nuances are healthy. I was also impressed by how well the image stability is. I'm not sure what it was like in previous releases, but this is pretty rock solid, including the optical effects and the optical imprint titles. The entire presentation just looks clean with no obvious leftover age-related wear and tear or damage, and no encoding issues or digital noise. This is one hell of a beautiful Blu-ray. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and spend just a few minutes here with us talking about the Kindred. As always, keep doing your part in keeping physical media alive, and I'll see you next time. I'm giving Synapse Films Blu-ray release of The Kindred a 4 out of 5 for video and audio. This is a stellar Blu-ray release. Again, the street date to this is October 25th, 2022. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and spend just a few minutes here with us talking about The Kindred. As always, keep doing your part in keeping physical media alive, and I'll see you next time.